let's just start off, if you can, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, how old you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
My name is Will Schafer, 48 years old. Grew up in New York State and bounced around the country a little bit before winding up here in the great state of Virginia, just outside of DC, about 2003. So I've been here, about 17 years. And I'm a civil engineer and have a practice for water and wastewater and civil engineering in the DC metro area.
Very nice, man. And can you remind me how many weeks back was it that you first initially joined this first program? Like how many weeks back?
I'm on week 9 technically now.
Okay. And can you just tell me, and perhaps maybe anyone who's popped on this video that's watching, can you just share why was it that you joined? What was life like back for you then? And what problems were you facing? And just how did you feel overall?
I didn't feel too good. I was getting through the days, with a struggle, waking up pretty lethargically, hit and miss in the morning. I would get walks in, but just not enough real exercise or me time to be able to have the energy to tackle the day. The couch at the end of the day was suitable, and the weight went on. And as the weight went on, the ability to exercise went way down, energy levels went down, was able to function, but just not quite in a clear and energetic state at the time. Yeah.
And how bad did it get for you? Like, and specifically, what toll did it take on your life personally and professionally to be operating in that state that you were in?
Well, I didn't feel too good about myself in general, body image, of course, not having the energy to do the things that I was doing. Because I'm a lifetime hockey player. I played, growing up as a kid, and then, on into adulthood in the pickup leagues, which was such a huge part of my life. And, some things beyond control, including the pandemic, didn't allow that for a while. But when friends were rejoining teams, I was not in the shape or even able to fit into the equipment to get back on the ice confidently. So that was a trigger, that said something's up here. We gotta change things.
I see. So even though the state of the world, once things started getting back to whatever you consider normal, where your activities, where you big hockey fan, you wanted to get back into the game, but whether it was not being able to fit into certain things and those kind of things, that's what kind of led you to almost say, okay, something's up here.
Yeah, it was the worst I had ever felt, and the most I had ever weighed in my life. I always would joke back to times in college where I put on a lot of weight, but it was so easy to take it off after college ended at that age because of the late night pizzas and all that kind of stuff. And I think I was somewhere up in the high 230s, 240s. But over the pandemic, I weighed in one day somewhere in the 250s. And, it was just alarming, and went to the doctor for other reasons. And the doctor weighed me in and asked me what football team I played for at that weight, which was a joke, of course, but just a reminder that, hey, you're really in a zone that you should not be in if you want to maintain some kind of healthy lifestyle.
I hear you, man. And so even with that kind of almost subtle, gentle wake up call from the doctor, or maybe comment, in terms of the energy, because I know that was a big thing for you when we first spoke, and you were just sharing how just the energy was not there. You mentioned at the beginning of this lethargy or just lethargic. How was it affecting you on the day to day to be operating, feeling lethargic and energetically not being low on energy?
Certainly waking up like a zombie. I think I've told you in some of our one-on-ones that I would, do things like, first of all, coffee was an absolute must to even be able to think about functioning. Not in any way springing out of bed, hitting the snooze button, 10 times, 15 times over a period of an hour. And realizing that I intended to wake up at 5:30, but was up like closer to 7 o'clock. Pouring my coffee after I made a nice cup of coffee into the garbage by mistake, and just not being able to even function for at least an hour after waking up. Kind of plodding through, getting the dog walked, the chores in the morning, and then finally getting in the car. Such a chore just to get to work, and then being at work probably a half hour to 45 minutes late already, since I was supposed to be there probably 7:30. And not even being ready to work, just, taking another hour to just ramp up at work before I get into some kind of zone where, I can make good decisions, and have enough creativity. That shows you how the energy affected me. And then getting work done, but relying on that cup of coffee, well, a couple cups of coffee in the morning at work, and then after lunch, that 2 o'clock other cup of coffee or 2 cups of coffee to get me through the rest of the day, and then getting home and just not having any energy for a project at home that might be going on, or a walk after work, just taking a seat on the couch, throwing on Netflix or whatever documentary I was interested in at the time, and saying to myself, well, okay, another day is down. I guess this is what it is, right?
So you kind of almost, in a sense, just almost writing it off, because it
Yeah.
started at the beginning of the day where, like you said, you woke up like feeling like a zombie. You're accidentally pouring coffee that you felt like you had to almost rely upon, just to get through the day, but you're pouring the coffee in the trash because just kind of, almost maybe feeling zombie like you're saying, groggy in a sense, and you're getting through the day. And not only that, it was a chore just to get in the car and get to work. But then once you're at work, you had to ramp up, do everything in your power just to ramp up another hour and get that energy to be creative. And then it would go into the afternoon all the way to the evening, where, like you said, it's you're sitting down, Netflix documentary, just hardly anything left to give.
Absolutely. Yeah, you nailed it.
And when between that and the weight, what was the biggest thing for you that said, like, was it the comment from the doctor, or what was that one thing in you that said, okay, I can't feel this way anymore, I can't, I'm, the guy in the mirror, like, what was it that sprung
Oh,
to you, said something's got to change here?
I know exactly what it was. I was looking at I was looking for a particular picture in my digital files on my computer, which are vast, and came across a picture where I was running in a 5K about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, which is not too long ago. And
Right.
I looked pretty darn good in the picture. And it was a picture of me coming over the finish line. And I think at the time I was running like 7 minute, 30-second miles, which is pretty good for my body type. And I said to myself, I couldn't even dream of probably even walking a 5K right now. And look what you were doing only 3 or 4 years ago, and how decisions and some things a little out of your control, but the combination of have put you in this state. And is this really, you're going to let this go on? And I said no. So,
I see. And so even with all of this going on, then you made the decision to say, enough is enough. Something's got to change here. And you decided to step up and commit and join just within these 10-week period of time. What has life been like for you over these past 10 weeks?
I guess just becoming more well balanced, and the routine has been probably the biggest. I almost want to say surprise, because I've been down the road with some programs, or gym routines, or this fitness, that fitness, where you have sort of the beast mode, right off the bat, how many of these can you do, how many of that can you do, and then kind of burnt out so quickly, in a matter of weeks, with
Yeah.
such good intentions. And then for a program to just be realistic and teach routine, consistency, good habits, and not being absolutely prohibitive of living and certain things that you like, but being able to come up to those things and manage them, and have just the same amount of fun, but in a responsible manner.
So being able to progress, get results, and still have a life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So for you, knowing that the routine was probably, that, like you said, the biggest surprise, and maintaining that consistency in those habits and those kind of things. What I want to know is, knowing that the routine was the biggest surprise for you, and just how consistent you have been in here. What I'm curious to know is, what specific results have you gotten, and just since implementing the program within the last 10 weeks?
Sure. So we haven't even talked about physical results yet, but starting just with the energy, the ability to be at my desk at 7:30 and ready to work and make good decisions, and get so much more done by noon than I had done in a day or 2 days prior.
That is mind blowing. So you're able to get at the desk at, say, 7:30. You're getting more done by noon than sometimes the previous days follow than before, with when you were lacking energy. Is that what
Or
I'm
even two
hearing?
days, or even 2 days. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So what would you say it's done for your productivity? Because I recall when we first connected and we kind of did, we worked through the math together in terms of maybe what, in terms of focus per week, or what it was preventing you each week from staying really focused and in the zone. What have you noticed in terms of productivity? What's changed in that department?
Focus, and delegation ability, organization, able to keep tasks moving, not getting stuck as much, being, I guess, more confident in reaching out to folks either within the company or vendors and others to make, things just keep moving, and reviewing things and catching things that I maybe wouldn't have caught in the past. Just a good, solid work day. Before, it was more like increments of bright ideas and getting things done, and then, gosh, I got to take a break. And, in the zone, I feel like the zone is much bigger.
Yeah. So the zone is much bigger, the zone of focus.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the time period of being able to focus.
And how long would you say the time period is now, like within a day, that you can focus compared to before?
Oh, I'd say I'm getting a good, 5-6 hours of real, focus time. And then giving myself a walk, to take a break, or even 2 walks, during the day. And just knowing that, hey, I know I'm going to get a bunch of stuff done in the next 3 hours. I'm going to take a half-hour walk and get some steps in. And maybe I'll probably even think of a few things on that walk that makes even the next 3 hours easier than it was going to be.
Wow. So you're getting 6 hours of consistent focus. You even are knocking out more in that time frame, which then allows you to go on a leisurely walk, maybe even come up with more ideas there, come back, get done what you need to get done, and then finish work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is incredible. And how about the energy tailing off after work, in terms of how has that been for you? What does the energy look like now after work has been finished compared to before?
The energy's there. No longer am I coming home and just going right to the couch, grabbing a beer or a cocktail and just, saying, hey, you deserve this. What a day that was. It's more like, hey, get a walk in, get a hike in, start doing a little progress for an hour or so on a home improvement thing that I've been trying to push along. And usually those have only, waited till the weekend warrior type stuff. So yeah, it's a different end to the day than before, It's not the wake up, oh wow, I passed out on the couch again and it's 11 o'clock and you've been sleeping for 3 hours on the couch kind of stuff.
So now you're able to finish the workday, come home, get those extra projects around the house that you want to get done. You're no longer just chilling on the couch and grabbing a beer. You're doing more things, going for a walk, going for a hike. And like you said, it's no longer that where you come home, you're just zapped and you're wiped out and you're just ended up on the couch, and then you're like waking up, wait a minute, it's 11 p.m. or someone's waking you up to say it's time to go to bed. No longer are you experiencing that.
No.
And so a lot has changed in terms of energy. How about physically? Because I know also.
Yeah. So in the beginning of this program, that's all I was talking about, if you recall. So I wasn't even thinking about the other results that help you get to the physical results. So the physical results were, I was once 250 during the pandemic, which was the original alarm. My first weigh-in was about 242 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I think my waist was a 45, which was also pretty alarming. And then as of this morning, I was 223.4 pounds. Somewhere around the 18-pound mark is what I'm down now in 60 days.
Ooh, that is awesome. 18 pounds down. And how about in terms of the waist? Do you know what waist measurement you started at around kind of the midsection and where it is now?
45. I was about a 45 and I'm a 41 and a half. Yeah, 3.5, almost 4 inches.
3.5, almost 4 inches dropped around the waist, 18 pounds. And we're talking only within the first 60 days here. What else? Like, I know you mentioned kind of, hey, I wasn't able to get back on the ice because of how the gear was fitting. How about clothes? Has anything changed in that department?
No more wearing sweatpants because it's the only thing that fits. I'm back into khakis that I intend to get down on the size even more, but at least I'm able to confidently wear them to work. One of the things going back to work full time was after the pandemic was, what am I going to wear? Resorting to like sweatpants that kind of were black, and gosh, if you blur your eyes, they kind of look like dress pants a little bit, with the stretchy waist. So fitting into clothes better. still kind of in the XL, but coming into, like today I'm wearing a large shirt without having to, hide within a big billowy double XL shirt. Yeah, so fitting clothes better. The weight about 18 pounds, about 3.5 inches off the waist. The shoulders are definitely I can notice more of a form in the shoulders.
Once you created those results for yourself, what else changed for you? Like, what
Well,
else was different?
basically, when I got to the point, which has not been too long ago, where I said, "Oh wow, there's really significant results here." My goal is a certain weight under 200 pounds, and I am now a third to almost just under halfway there. Seeing those results to date has made me say, "Okay, I want to be even more serious about this program," and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see the finish line.
I love it, man. So you see it, you want to build on top of what you've already created for yourself.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. And how specifically did this impact other areas of your life?
So family, yeah, family as well. My son, being able to hang out. He's an older boy now, but also being able to go, fishing with him, after work, or take a hike on the weekend. Being able to hang with folks that are younger than me.
Even with all of this, what I want to know from you is how has this been different from anything you've ever experienced before?
So I think it's different because of the personal attention. It's custom to each person. It's the constant contact with the team and with you. I'm getting checked in on, and I say, you know what? I gotta go log in some stuff because I gotta take time for me. Those are the things that make it different. That's also the reason why I'm able to keep it consistent. Is those reasons? There's accountability, and it's not just accountability in a way where you're intimidated by the person that's telling you to be accountable. It's making you accountable to yourself.
It's interesting you say that. So when you say accountability, because that's one typical thing I hear that most will say, "Hey, I'm feeling like I'm missing some accountability." And in here, when you first entered, we do accountability a little different. But I find it interesting that you said you do it, it's done in a way to where you almost feel accountable to yourself. And yet this has been one of the most consistent things you've done. So how have you enjoyed this kind of accountability better than maybe previous, like you said, maybe intimidation, which is a lot of things, it seems out there is intimidation wise. So how have you found this accountability to work for you rather than against you?
We're celebrating things that we accomplished rather than talking about things we didn't do. So on our calls weekly, we talk about our wins versus what we missed. And I think that form of accountability right there makes me say, I want to check last week, maybe I checked 50 boxes. This week, I want to check 51, 52 boxes because I want more wins. And it's not focusing on, oh, you missed your steps yesterday or your workout yesterday. You better make it up tomorrow. Twice. Yeah, that's the kind of accountability. It's more of a fun accountability.
Fun accountability rather than fear-based accountability.
Yeah.
I love it, man. And what specific thing do you like the most about your experience within here thus far, about just this whole thing in general? What specific thing do you like the most?
I like the fact that the exercise or the movements, which is what we call them, don't absolutely crush you, and they're attainable. You can get through the workout or the movements in anywhere from 18 minutes to 30 minutes and accomplish it and check them all off, and then go and beyond. You go on your day and realize, hey, look what I already did today. Now I'm ready for whatever else is coming my way today. That's probably my favorite thing is being able to be cognizant and present in the morning after taking care of myself first, and being able to deliver to others much better, and myself much better, and family much better for the rest of the day. Just for that tweak in the morning.
I love it, man. And even with that, what I want to know from you is, what was your biggest worry or concern about joining this initial program?
That I wouldn't continue it.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
Going back to what I mentioned earlier, I've been one of those that wants to improve himself. So the intentions have always been there, but they've never really been consistent, and developed sort of a reputation for what's the next thing Will's going to try. In family, and relationships. So the worry was to let myself down and let others down, and have another thing that I didn't follow through on. That was a big worry.
I get it. So starting another thing and almost hearing, even if they never said it blatantly, like, oh, here he goes again. Let's see what happens here. And what what was the result of that worry or concern up to this point?
The worry is no longer there, and that also came in that, even maybe the 30-day point, when I realized, okay, this is real. This isn't something that you just start with a bunch of adrenaline in the beginning and tail off. Again, I'm a pretty skeptical person, based on
Yeah.
life experience, and that worry is gone.
And knowing that you just mentioned, hey, I'm a pretty skeptical person, and I get that. I've been skeptical myself, and who knows with everything people have experienced these days, and maybe you're jaded about certain things they've experienced and got burned before, whatever it may be. What I want to know from you is, what were you really skeptical about when you made the decision to start?
Like, I think, like anything, especially something that's online or virtual, is it a real thing? And a successful person, and I can afford things, but don't want to get burned. You know.
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
yeah, that was, and that's hard to overcome, that, because there's so many scams online, so many pills that can do all these different things, supposedly, and programs. So yeah, get it was a video just like this that got me over that hump.
And I was going to ask. So I remember you had mentioned there was a video that kind of spoke to you, and but even though you felt like, okay, is this going to be a thing that I invest in and get burned in? What I want to know from you is, what did I do? What did we do? Just the program in general at the core, to alleviate your skepticism entirely.
Probably the next morning when I woke up, and there was 10 guys saying they were up, and all the stuff that they were doing and checking in with each other. And I joined that camaraderie right away, not knowing what I was doing at all. And once I saw all that, and I said to myself, okay, I know you're skeptical, Will, but there's not 10 people scamming you right now. There's no way.
So,
And the camaraderie, and knowing that there's other folks, that were a couple weeks ahead of me.
so you felt that instantly, knowing that there were other successful, driven, high performers just like you, same position, and they are going through this together. You're not alone, because you chose group over the private. So we went the group route, and you started to see all that interacting together, and that gave you the light bulb of, wow, okay, I'm not alone in this. Okay, this is real. This is coming together, and that pretty much alleviated things entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking to that, if anyone's watching this and they've made it up to this point, what would you say to anyone, maybe that one guy that's really skeptical? He's been burned before,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially really weary about online things. And based on your experience, where you've come this far, overcoming that skepticism yourself, producing the results that you've made during this time by, putting forth that effort and the commitment that you've done, what would you tell that gentleman right now that's watching this, and he's shaking his head going, yeah, this all sounds great, but he's really skeptical, and he's considering filling out the form like you did, reaching out for support? What would you say to him right now?
I'd say fill out the form, submit the form. Logan's offering this time one-on-one regardless, which in itself I learned a ton. Then also, I guess the second part of that would be, if you've made up your mind to change sedentary habits, and that you want to better yourself and get maybe either back to where you were, or the best, you, or version of you're going to say yes. It's just, there's hardly a value you can put on it if you're feeling the way I feel only 60 days in, and you can make a 180-degree turn from where you were headed, or where you were already, because you're investing in yourself. And I would say, make the call, have the consultation. If you're ready for this, you're going to say yes.